For my animator spotlight, I have chosen to focus on Ray Harryhausen. I chose him because he was a master of stop motion and created amazing special effects. Ray Harryhausen was an American British artist born on June 29, 1920, and died on May 7, 2013. Ray Harryhausen's first film was with George Pal, who he teamed up with at Paramount. Together, they created Puppetoon shorts. Later on, in 1953, Ray was hired by Warner Brothers to do special effects for The Beast from 20,000 Phantoms. From there, he went over to Columbia and teamed up with Charles H. Schneer, creating sci-fi and fantasy films where he finished out the remainder of his career. Harryhausen was born in Los Angeles, California, and died in London. In 1938, when he was 18, Ray created a dinosaur film called Evolution of the World. He brought it to MGM to show his idol Willis O'Brien, who suggested that he take some more art classes to improve on his skills. Harryhausen took his advice and attended Los Angeles City College and the University of California. Harryhausen was mentored by George Pal, who he worked with on his first film in Paramount, and then later with Willis O'Brien when he assisted him on the feature Mighty Joe Young. Willis Obie O'Brien inspired Harryhausen from a young child with his stop-motion animations. It was because of O'Brien that Harryhausen wanted to become an animator after seeing his animation titled The Lost World and King Kong. His career is also closely tied to Charles H. Schneer, who he worked with for more than 25 years, with whom he created 12 feature films. Some of their most well-known films were It Came From Beneath the Sea, the first film that they did together, and Jason and the Argonauts, which stood out for its spectacular animation. During World War II, Harryhausen was drafted for military duty and served in the 1st Motion Picture Unit. He created propaganda films and some non-stop motion effects. Ray Harryhausen produced and directed 4 stop-motion nursery rhymes that he put together into one film titled Mother Goose Stories. Dynamation was a term coined by Harryhausen and was a new technique used for creating special effects. It used a split-screen system and employed rear screen projections, mattes, and double exposure to combine live action and animation. First, live-action performers recreated to animated characters that they would eventually see later. Then, the live-action footage was rewound and the camera was shot again using a second matte that covered the areas that were exposed the first time. In the end, he was able to achieve a print that featured both live and animated components. Some of Ray Harryhausen's most famous stop-motion films include Little Red Riding Hood, which was his first, The Story of Hansel and Gretel, The Story of Rapunzel, and The Story of King Midas. He finished his Mother Goose Tales series with the story of the Tortoise and the Hare, which he started in 1952. He did not end of completed this film until 2002 because he began a feature film project, The Beast from 20,000 Phantoms. Ray's most famous films featuring animation include It Came From Beneath the Sea, Earth vs. the Flying Saucers, The Seventh Voyage of Sinbad, and Jason and the Argonauts. Jason and the Argonauts stood out from all of the rest because it included such incredible feats of animation. In the particular sword fighting sequence, there is a giant bronze statue, a 7th-headed hydra, and a skeletons all moving in unison during a fight scene. This scene was highlighted of his career as well as the history of special effects. In order to create the scene, the men rehearsed with live actors who performed the motion of the skeletons. Once their movements were perfected, the scene was filmed without them, so the warriors actually battled enemies that they could not see. Later on, animated characters were added in.